And welcome back to Stories from the River. Welcome to episode 351. It's all about Project Cascade with Carl Hillesland, our Director of Retail Performance.
Welcome to Stories from the River, a show in which we go behind the scenes at Broad River Retail.
Carl, welcome back to the pod.
Charlie, it's great to be here. Look at this new studio. This is fantastic.
Yeah, so this is the second time use.
Wow.
We interviewed our Memory Maker of the Year, Edie Changrati, last week, and but she didn't have some of the accessories and accessorization. So you got a little bit of a uplift here.
Well, you picked a rock star for your first episode in the new studio with Edie.
Yeah, we sure did. She's outstanding. But hey, we got another rock star with us right now today.
Let's go.
And talking all about Cascade.
Yeah.
So Cascade kind of falls into your purview, right, as Director of Retail Performance. And you've had how many trips up to Spokane and to the Northwest?
I think we're on 5 now, coming up on 6.
You personally?
Yeah.
Wow.
4 or 5.
And
you kind of start losing track.
Do you usually go through O'Hare or DFW?
Been O'Hare a couple times, Denver. Actually, that's Dallas, Denver, O'Hare. So it's 5 trips.
Yeah, yeah. Seasonally, they used to have some direct flights. So
I don't know what happened there, but we
need to get those back.
We need to get those back.
But you can do a lot of work on the plane and whatnot.
Oh, a ton of work.
Okay, so I get asked a lot, Carl, like, hey, how's that expansion in the Northwest going? And hey, what are your plans for the Northwest? And so I said, you know what? I talked to our resident senior communications manager about our schedule, and Mr. Tyler Trill, journalism major extraordinaire.
Yeah, big time.
Unflappable.
The guy's a machine.
He is a machine. And but don't get anything wrong on a LinkedIn post because he'll just kill it.
He'll just kill it.
Yeah. So I said, well, hey, what about Spokane? And he said, got it. We got you. So we're doing a Spokane show.
Let's do it.
I said, let's bring out Carl. So Carl, we're all about Spokane today. But I guess I get asked a lot, like, hey, how's it going? How's your expansion going? And I said, well, let's do an episode on it. So episode 351 with Carl Hillesland about Spokane, Washington. So let's start here. It is Spokane, not Spokane.
We can do it. We can do it. We will do it. We must do it. Spokane.
Okay, and then we have another store opening on Good Friday, April 3rd. And how do you pronounce that one?
This is in Moscow, Idaho. And so company. The cows are in Russia, but the Moscow is in Idaho. There's no rhyme or reason for that one, but Moscow.
Well, they wanted to differentiate their pronunciation from the Moscow and over in Russia, and that's Moscow. I've gotten in a lot of debates, and I don't want to be OCD about correcting people, but that's how they want to be called. Call people how they want to be called. Spokane and Moscow.
That's right.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so now how's it going in Spokane? Like, talk about the leadership, the team. We had some transfers, and so it's the Spokane Pathfinders.
The Pathfinders. First off, what a great name,
Great
right?
name.
We are launching one of the nation's largest Ashley furniture stores all the way across the country, not halfway, all the freaking way.
That's right.
And the Pathfinder. So Melanie Pratt. Let's just talk about Melanie Pratt for a second.
Melanie Pratt. She's doing a great job.
So Melanie Pratt is our senior GM over there. And what's so special about Melanie, she came to us as a GM, helped stand up the Anderson store especially when we relocated that store. Did a wonderful job, crushed it. And then she wanted to go have kids, which is awesome, and we love that. And she said, hey, can I go and be a sales manager? She did, and she not only crushed on the GM side, she worked her way all the way up to our expert side. So she is a player coach, if I've ever seen one. And she has just an incredible style of how she gets people to go and motivate them by getting to know them and being with direct communication. And she just loves them. Then we got this guy named Derek Hugson, who came to us from a different Ashley group and has always met his wife and fell in love with the Pacific Northwest, so he wanted to get back there. Like, I couldn't get this guy to come to the Carolinas. Nice and sunny, all that kind of good stuff. He's like, no, I want the Spokane Northwest area. So you got Derek, who is a fun guy, super, super smart, P2I ninja, and you got Melanie, the strategic, thoughtful approach that can just get anybody to do anything. And those two, right out of the gate, first 2 months, we were talking about it, first 2 months, crush revenue. And they have been on this upward trajectory. Now, anytime we open a new market, there's going to be a little bit of a mess. But those two, the leaders, everything rises and falls on leaders. We picked the right two ones to start this journey.
Yeah, that's great. And Melanie was a transplant from Spartanburg. And,
That's right.
And raised her hand. And so we said, okay, that's a great way to cascade our culture with a senior GM. And then you had another GM to double stack and to pair them together. And he came from Oklahoma, and our friends out in the Mathis group, and wanted to move out to Spokane. And so they're doing a great job. And we had some other transplants.
That's right.
You know, Avery, and talk about the rest of the team.
Yeah, so Avery, $1 million plus rider with us here in the Carolinas, and this guy's amazing. Like, he raises his hand and goes, "Hey, put me in, coach. Hey, wherever you go, I'm going to go. We're going to make this thing happen." And so to bring that depth of knowledge and that energy and what Broad River has done, that culture, and bring it over to the team, it was phenomenal. We also had a couple other leaders, Charlie Hess, who, local to the Spokane market, actually for years and years, decades. And this guy, love this guy. He has a depth of knowledge, depth of experience, and has really helped solidify the team and bring a strong foundation of selling to the team. Then we got Michael Hoxie, and Michael Hoxie came over from Lazy Boy and actually brought another memory maker with him, Alex. And Michael is this tender-hearted guy, but you know what? He's an old-time kickboxer, and so he's got this fighting spirit inside of him, this resiliency nature, and he's now going to be the selling GM of our Moscow store. And so the team is just producing some really great talent. Aubrey Myers, holy smokes. I think the most memorable thing we get on surveys is like food, right? Whether it's good or whether it's not. She's knocking it out of the park. Not only the food, but all the coordination, all the aspects, the travel. I mean, there are so many moving parts. Man, she is rocking it out. And then, Robert and the IT team, man, they got us this network in a box. They got us our laptops ready to go. There's so many great other players part of the system. Too many to name, but certainly a couple more there.
Yeah, well, we got to make sure travel's taken care of. Got to make sure that internet, IT, phone systems are working, and you got to make sure that people are well fed. That's really, really important.
That's it.
Good food is good nourishment is important.
That's right.
Yeah, it's great to have folks who know the area, who we bring on board. I didn't know that Michael was a kickboxer.
Oh, yeah. This guy, when you see him next time, talk to him about it. And maybe you might want to ask him about a tattoo or two that he might have.
Okay. Oh, we'll see. Yeah, so I'm excited. We essentially have, so the Moscow store, our second store in the market, is already fully staffed and is already going through training. And I heard that like everyone showed up for first of all, I thought that might be a more challenging store to set up from staffing because it's a smaller town, really far away. We had some great hiring events and got the store fully staffed with someone who'd been doing sales for us, and had also had management experience. So Michael's getting promoted to take over the selling GM role. And then you guys are going to be staffed day one, and everyone showed up for the first day of training. So how's it going with training, and how do you feel like the preparation for Moscow is going to be?
First off, it's phenomenal. And we got a rock star team here too, right? So you got Renee Bradley. All right, Renee and I, when we stood up Spokane, we sat in a room and we fleshed out the agenda, and we went through it when we opened Spokane, and it went off great. But there were some tweaks and adjustments that Melanie made, and Derek, and we had Dana Mallory come out for 3 days, do systems training. We did all these incredible support layers. Bree was out there. The whole talent team was out there at one point. It was amazing. The tweaks that we made from Spokane training to Moscow helped us realize a couple extra weeks of speed of getting people up to altitude faster. And so that's a huge kudos to Melanie, huge kudos to Renee and Dana and the team there. And we are really excited about the quality of the team that we're starting with Moscow. These are a lot of folks that they've gone through things in life. There's resiliency factor there. There's some sales factor there. But overall, they understand that every customer is vitally important to us. They understand the assignment, even though we haven't even opened our doors yet. And I'm going to tell you something. When you're positioned where we're at, and by the way, it doesn't hurt when you get a new Chick-fil-A in your parking lot. That's going to be amazing. But you got the University of Idaho. Go Vandals. Today's the day before the March Madness kicks off. And so I don't know if the Vandals are going to beat Houston or not, but maybe we're calling it an upset. I don't know. We'll see. And then you got, Washington State. So it's an incredible area. the store is going to do great, and the team is ready to receive the pass.
That's awesome. Yeah, we hope that Moscow punches above its weight.
We sure
in class.
do. We sure do.
I never knew, kind of before we started studying the market, that Washington State and the University of Idaho were so close together, like 7 or 8 miles apart.
Yep.
From Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. And essentially we're across the street from the campus of the University of Idaho Vandals, who are in March Madness.
That's right.
Hopefully they'll still be in by the time this
thing airs.
Yeah, yeah.
And another fun fact, I was talking to another folks local. They said Moscow is about 20,000. Moscow Pullman area is about 20,000, but when school's in session, it swells to 60,000. So that is a very beautiful stat for us.
Well, we do well in college towns.
That's right.
A lot of colleges in the Carolinas. One of the things that makes it replicable is the transfer of talent. We even had some folks transfer to the Spokane Steelheads for ops.
Yes.
But one thing with Melanie and kind of serving in multiple capacities, she's the senior GM, which in our world means she oversees the Moscow store as well, in addition to the Spokane store. What else is going to make it a replicable success for what we did in Spokane to what we will do in Moscow?
Well, Melanie was smart. And when she set this up, she created some rules. And the rules were no bad habits. When we go to start something new, you've got an opportunity to have no bad habits. And her fidelity to the process and her commitment to everything about our retail revolution and how we do what we do is very, very incredible. And so what she did is she had no bad habits, and we're going to do culture first and then process.
Yeah.
And that is a very duplicatable, scalable system that we've spent years on here that she was able to pick up and work there. And it's kind of a testament to the system as well, which is fun. But it's really a testament to her leadership and Derek's leadership, and then Renee and Dana and everyone surrounding that training plan to find people, and then Heather and the talent team being able to help us find the talent to make sure that those people are doing the right things at the right time. And really, we're still working on it, but we're getting so much closer to having everyone, the right people, in the right seats.
Yeah, there's so many things that kind of go into it, right? So make sure you get the right location, at the right occupancy cost, the right team, the right leadership, and you got processes. And there's so many chances. Well, let's just take this deal or take that deal or go skinny on this one, or we'll take it because we want the revenue. And they wanted the revenue, but we used to talk about sell the offered promotion.
That's right.
And so you look at Spokane secret sauce, and it's showing the art of the actual. It's showing the art, not just the art of the possible, but the art of the actual. And they're riding at the top of the leaderboard in secret sauce for a brand new store, brand new market with a lot of Ashley competition around. So testament to them and to building it the right way with a really strong foundation. That makes it replicable, right?
Yeah.
Duplicable. One of the things I'd love to know, kind of what has surprised you, what has met your expectations. One of the things that surprised me is when we look at these traffic counts, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm blown away by the traffic. What I did not realize is that we're connected to a mall. It's our first store connected to a mall. But I didn't realize is how accessible it is as an entrance into the mall, that mall customers are not going into the parking deck. They're using our Ashley store.
That's right.
And going. So it's like 3 or 4 times more traffic than our number one traffic store, which on paper is great. On conversion rate is like, well, you're not it's not great. But we're now doing some scientific work with Shopper Track to understand, time, if they're only in the store for 2 minutes means they're just passing through, that sort of thing. So don't count them. So what's the traffic that's actually destination traffic to our store? But we're getting a lot of passersby, which ultimately I think, hey, where do you go? Let's go to the mall, go to the Northtown Mall. Hey, we'll go to through the Ashley store. It at least engages them with our product. So that in our brands, that's one thing that's really surprised me to the upside is the traffic. What has surprised you, and what's kind of met your expectations?
Yeah, just piggybacking on that, if you can just for anyone that's listening, like it's an old Macy's building, right? So it's a 3-story Macy's building, anchor tenant, and so it's much easier to park there and walk through. And so our sales process starts at the front door, the greet, right? But with the amount of people that come through, and to give perspective, there's times I look at the traffic and I'm like, oh my gosh, Spokane in one day had more traffic than all of our Charlotte stores combined. The North stores, seven Charlotte stores, and it's amazing to see how the team has kind of understood and been able to kind of pick up people when they walk in. They're V-lining. There's 4 entrances to our building. one upstairs to the mall, one downstairs to the mall, and then two downstairs to the outside doors.
The parking lot. Yeah.
Parking lot. And so to be able to kind of pick that up, and what has surprised me is the resiliency of this team. They don't get discouraged. The other thing that surprised me is when I say they don't get discouraged, meaning, they start the sales process and they're able to create traction with the people that are not passing through. And it becomes pretty clear within the first minute or two if they're going to stick and stay. So it's a good time frame. The other thing too that's been kind of a surprise to me is how fast, I see them about every 4 weeks right now. And the progression from chaos to clarity has been pretty surprising to me, how quickly the team has progressed.
That's good.
And so I'm really proud of them. I'm really proud of the work they've done. I'm really proud of, because there is a mental resiliency factor whenever you go to new systems, new process, new anything. And I'm really proud of what they've been able to accomplish as time has gone on. It's very, very pleased with their progress.
Yeah. And one of the other things that has surprised me, one of my concerns going in, let's check the box. Spokane's going well.
Yep.
They've hit revenue and they've done so profitably, and they've stood up a great team, and the market's responding well to them. I was interested in the gravitational pull of Spokane. What I mean by that is the sales by zip code and how far the reach is. And it's been really localized. I don't actually look at that as a bad thing. I look at, okay, we're penetrating well in this more localized area or region, but that tells me, okay, we've got more expansion opportunities to go attack the market. So that to the good there. Now it's early. That might change as we kind of continue to advertise and get our brand and whatnot out there. But it does give, as we look for new store opportunities, it does give me a little bit more bullishness over the breadth and size of the market potential.
Certainly.
I was concerned about the supply chain going in. Spanaway closed for Ashley, yep. And so all of our products coming from Redlands, California, and we're not really flowing containers yet at this point. So, but when you look at the initial speed to customer, it's not as far off as it initially as I was concerned about as what we have where we are in stock here. We're really more running a cross stock model there with a smaller DC that's not fully racked. And we'll grow into it because we want to live within our harvest. So, but what's messy for you? And because I know we're also, supply chains also, there are some bumps in the road.
Yeah, certainly. And some of the messiness happens, when we look at customer expectations. In our system, we have available to customer dates, and what we've learned is that some of the customer complaints, if they come in, are due to speed to customer, right? Well, that's nothing really on our side. To your point about our manufacturer and the deadlines there, right?
Well, to be fair, it could be on our side because we don't have like 6 stores with an in-stock model today. We
Correct.
Started with 1 store and living within our harvest. So we're just getting started, right, with a national brand.
We're just getting started. And so from that standpoint, yeah, there could be opportunity on us. And that's a high level of ownership perspective we take there. But what we realize, and Derek and I actually had a call the last time I was there, and what we realized, if we just shift the customer expectation an extra week and a half, a lot of the noise starts going out of our system because we're able to accomplish that in that time frame. So we made those adjustments. We also made adjustments to sell and sleep, things that are product that are flowing. We've got some great partners in sleep, and so that product's flowing really well. And then also, we're drilling down to the HFC level as far as how they're finalizing their sales and the things that they're saying to make sure proper expectations are set. And then finally, what we're doing is we're looking at all of our open sales, the sales that have not delivered. And kind of like during COVID times, when we would make weekly calls to these guests, just being in conversation with them, the magic is their trust is built as time goes on. Yeah. So no matter what comes, the messiness that comes, no matter what it is, we are solutions-based, and our ability to get everyone seeing the same dog, right, the same solution, is also, a lot to be said for.
Well, I think our entire team really wanted to do a really great job
That's
out
right.
there. From the staffing, from the team development, from the revenues, from the supply chain. There's a lot of visibility on this expansion, and everyone wants it to go well because of the doors that it will open up for us downstream and just building out the market. So, I mean, everyone's got a natural set of pressure on them. Now, I know we had, like any new market, you're going to have some great hires initially, and then you might have some turnover.
Yep.
Expectations were a little bit different. So what are you still working through with the Spokane store?
Yeah, with the Spokane store, you know, we got this phrase around here, right people, right seat. It's not new to business and it's not new to us. But, you know, one thing is that whenever you have someone that comes onto your team that's maybe never done sales, or maybe they've never done sales in a mall, right? There's a physicality to the job.
Yeah.
The store's three floors, multiple levels, 100,000 plus square feet. Like, so there's a physicality to the job. So, you know, there might have been an underestimation there, right?
Nobody's gotten stuck in the freight elevator again since that one incident.
Not again, not till our dear friend Selena, but she is so wonderful.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, but as far from a staffing perspective, you know, we're still working through some of that with Spokane, but our talent team has absolutely crushed it with the interviews and the candidates. We're finding some really, really good talent. We've got some new talent that has come on the team since we started, you know, and I think about Kaylee, right? She's a rising star for us. Her first 4 weeks on the sales floor, she did 35 apps.
Wow.
And so, I mean, like, there is some amazing talent that is coming to the team.
So you feel good about the talent, but what are you working through then?
Yeah.
What is messy right now?
Well, what is messy is, you know, there's some state regulations that we've never really dealt with. Overtime is messy. And so we can't really give folks...
But we're working through it.
We're working through it. And so, so, you know, as we work through those situations, we find ways to not get around state regulations, but to get our staff right staff.
Yeah.
And that's really the gap there.
But our opening hours are not the same as they are here in the South either.
Correct.
We close a little bit earlier.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, we close a little bit earlier. It's a three-hour time zone difference too, and so you know, that we match with the mall hours, so that's nicer too. And then, you know, a couple other things that we've had to work through departmentally wise is that, you know, hey, IT hours of, you know, if we're in a sale or we got an issue there, we have the best departments that have solutions based, and so anything that's popped up, there hasn't really been anything that we haven't been able to work through.
And there's always going to be things, but working 2,500 miles 3 time zones away does present challenges.
It certainly does.
But Will Luke and the project management team and you guys are doing a great job powering through it. So what has the team learned since opening? Maybe about you know, going in a non-adjacent market 2,500 miles away, 3 time zones away, or something else. What have been some of the learnings?
That team and you know, anyone that's able to go from here and visit there, I believe that when they walk away, they're going to really understand that the name Pathfinders is truly fitting, because, you know, last year our word of the year for the company was pioneer, and rightfully so, right? We had to pioneer a lot of things, and this is one of the biggest projects. But this team is putting together, I think, what's going to become a dynasty run. And it's a dynasty in the making. It's a championship team in the making.
I love that.
And I think it's a foreshadow of the things to come, and it's something that we can build and scale around. And so, again, the name Pathfinders, certainly fitting. And you know, Moscow has named their team. And
well, that was going to be a good segue. So now we're getting ready for, we're days and weeks away from, you know, Good Friday and the soft opening of the Moscow store. Well, let's unveil it here.
Let's do it.
Moscow is going to be known as
the Moscow Trailblazers.
Wow.
And you know, carrying the torch, extending the narrative, the story of Pathfinders. We're now going to blaze the trail, and we're going to continue to expand as long as it'll take us.
And that store's ready? You think they're going to
oh man, they're so fired up. They're so fired up. I had to FaceTime when I got back from training them. I had to FaceTime them. Dana was over there, and we had the GM REM RX downstairs, and I just wanted to show everyone the Moscow team. So we FaceTimed them real quick, and they're excited. They're pumped, and they're gonna make a big impression.
Now, some of them are in training. Are they all working in the Spokane store now?
No. So Spokane and Moscow are about an hour 45 minutes apart. It's a beautiful drive, nice rolling hills, you know. So right now this week is sleep week. So technically they are training in Spokane store. But the first 2 weeks we were in a hotel in Pullman, Washington, about 10 minutes from the store, 10, 15 minutes. This week is sleep week, so they're in Spokane. We put them up in hotels and all that kind of stuff. And then next week we're going to start being between the hotel and the actual store, and we're going to start pressurizing the system to bring, to see where the gaps are, and then we're going to fill those in, and we're going to be ready to go.
And what do you think the difference? In Spokane, it's you got every single product that we can carry. It's 101,000 gross square feet. The showroom's probably 60 or 70,000 square feet, over 3 levels, but massive sleep gallery. Conversely, you're going to be in a 25,000 square foot store in Moscow, so a more limited assortment, and you're going to have to kind of be strategic. Well, if something doesn't sell, I can't waste that square footage. I got to bring something else that will sell. I don't know what's going to sell day one to that audience. And so and I don't know if there's going to be take with customers who are going to want like a mattress in a box. So you got a mattress firm right there in the market. So how do you think it's going to be different on the store sizes or the assortment or even the in-stock merchandise?
Yeah, well, I think that, being the massive college town, right, we'll have to look at some of that merchandising from a take with standpoint. And we've already looked at some of that. But what we know that we're going to build this team on is sleep, right? 2 things, VIP, sleep, and really 3 things. Prospecting, because we know that a customer that comes in our store is there on purpose. They're very intentional. They know exactly where they're at. And in the same mall, there is a mattress firm. And guess what? The best thing about buying a mattress is having the furniture that comes with it on the same truck. And that's one thing that mattress firm will never be able to touch us on. But building it with VIP is our greatest unlock. And so understanding that buying power, our greet at the door, this team knows how to connect with guests. And so we're going to get them to the gallery. We're going to be able to connect with them in a way that we're going to extend that relationship. And that's going to create this effect, that wave of momentum that I think we're going to see soon. The other thing that some of the teams doing pretty creatively is they're getting together with a lot of these apartment complexes that are going up, getting the blueprints of the apartments and coming up with room layouts. So selling whole rooms instead of piece by piece.
Are they using AI to do that?
There's some aspects of that they are using, absolutely. And so what's going to be, we're going to try that.
Is that in Spokane or Moscow?
In Moscow.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
so, but it's really something that Melanie's spearheading, and Michael Hoxie and a couple of the other new HFAs. And obviously, if we can make something work there,
that's right.
It can work anywhere.
Well, that's a great innovation, and we should talk to Ashley Design Services because they're doing some of that stuff online too to bring designers into the showroom. And so I love the ingenuity, blazing a trail, finding a path as Pathfinders and Trailblazers to bring these stores successful. And really, they're being entrepreneurial. Or intrapreneurial, right? They're being entrepreneurs within the organization, separated from the organization, but leaning on the organization when they need help with systems, processes, regulations, staffing, operations. And so the ops team is doing a great job with the steelheads. Deliveries are going well. We need to tighten up some of those points that we've identified in supply chain, which we will. Yep. And I'm so excited to see how the Moscow store will do, day one. And if they'll, I trust they'll punch above their weight class and above their budget. So
listen, I know Mike Jones and Bobby D, they're ready to receive the pass. I know Brian's wanting to get us the furniture. Hey, Lynn, oh my gosh, her and the entire team, world class. The Vibe Collective, best logo out there. And you know what? I got to give one other shout out. My man, Will Luke. Will has been kind of the genius behind the scenes, helping make things happen, and I really appreciate Stacy, his trust to send me all the way across the country to set this thing up, and it's been an honor. What a great learning lesson too, to be able to reduce complexity, bring calm to the chaos. It's what we do, and we're ready to open up store number 2 in the Pacific Northwest.
Well, it takes a village.
It takes a village.
Yeah, thank you for taking the trips away from your family, your young family, and to go out there and to support Melanie and Derek and Michael and Charlie and Avery and the entire and Kaylee and the entire team. Thank you to the Spokane Pathfinders. Thank you to the upcoming Moscow Trailblazers, and thank you to the Spokane Steelheads. And thank you for all the support layers who are helping us tell the story, hire the staff, bring the memory makers on board, and get ready to go and get ready to roll here in Spokane and to grow out in the Northwest. It's really exciting to go from like 0 to 20, 0 to 40, 0 to 60, or 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, and to get running at top speed.
Right.
Crawl, walk, run, and we're doing it with intentionality and putting in all the processes in place that will have sustainability and So we're locked in, and then on to the next, right?
On to the next.
On to the next. Anything that I didn't ask you that you want to say about the Spokane market, Project Cascade? Appreciate the shout outs to Coach and to Renee and Melanie, obviously, and Will Luke.
When we interview folks that are coming to the river, they often mention this podcast. And if for folks that are listening at this point, what I gotta say is like, why haven't you reached out? Like, we are growing. We got this vision. We're going to hit $310 million this year. That's our goal. We will certainly hit 300, but we're going for 500 million by 2030. Like, we need the talent. We need the help. We are growing in a duplicatable and scalable system. Let's freaking go. Give us a call.
Always selling. Regional, from regional to national caliber.
That's right.
And durable scalability. And as our friend Edie Changrati likes to say, we're writing history as we go.
That's right.
So that's episode 351 with Carl Hillesland, our Director of Retail Performance, here on episode 351 from Stories from the River, all about Project Cascade. It is cascading very well. On to the next. Thanks so much for joining us every Tuesday here, wherever you get your fresh podcast content. Hey, whether you subscribe so you don't miss an episode, leave us a comment. But we're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We might even be on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn.
Sure.
Got all kinds of spotlights and videos. And I think Apple's going to have videos on podcasts. Spotify has videos. Wherever Julia and Tyler take us, there are support layers here off screen.
That's right. No flap.
No flap. Thanks so much.
Thanks for listening to Stories from the River. To check out more episodes, visit storiesfromtheriver.com. To watch this episode, go to youtube.com/@storiesfromtheriver. Join us again next week, and remember to like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast.